Good morning. It is 10 a.m. on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone would please stand and join us for our invocation. Holy Father, thank you for the opportunity to be here and to be at this specific time and place. We are just so grateful for the many blessings that you bestow upon us as a people, as a county, as the weather that you provide us and the rainfall that, though it's been lacking recently, that you've given us this year. We're just so thankful and remember you for your blessings. Lord, we ask that you would be with us this morning, that you would help the five of us to make good decisions and wise decisions, and that for everyone that's in this room today who serves the public, that we would all keep that in mind of who we serve, and that, Lord, ultimately you would draw our attention and our vision to you. Please be with us, Lord. And we ask for your protection upon our first responders, upon our military, upon all of those who are serving to protect us. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please join us for the pledge to the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone may be seated. This time, I'd like to invite Tisha McCreary from the Wichita County Juvenile Justice Department up, as well as Kurt Wolf, for a presentation of the Employee of the Month for September 2025. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kurt.
Hey, good morning, Judge.
So, as everyone knows, been through these before, but we always do want to recognize one employee for outstanding performance and dedication to the people that they serve and to their job. And for September, you were nominated and are the recipient of the award, Tisha. And so I always like to turn it over to the supervisor who can explain why you are deserving of this award.
Sure, thank you, Judge. Tisha McCreary, she's fixing her 30-year anniversary,
Wow.
the first part of next month. And so she's worked at juvenile probation all these years in various capacities. She worked in detention for quite some time and then moved up to being a case managing probation officer. And she presently serves as our training coordinator and certification officer. So all of our officers at juvenile probation, whether that be detention officer, probation officers, have to maintain a state certification. There's very specific training and requirements. They're very particular, as you can imagine. And so she has to keep up with all that. She trains the entire staff or arranges the training for the staff so that we can all be in the good graces of the state of Texas and everybody that we serve. So she does an excellent job at that. The state comes down every year and monitors our compliance with the state standards and our training, and we've always scored 100% with Tisha at the helm of doing that. So really wanted to acknowledge her and her appreciation, and also Stuart McCreary, her husband, who worked for us at Juvenile Pro for 20 years, and he works for Judge Hughes as well. He wanted a better boss, so he just Judge Hughes. So anyway, thank you, Tisha, so much for all you do, all the service for the Juvenile Probation Department. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
No, just thank you for nominating.
Thank you for the great work. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Let me give that to you.
Sure.
And we'll do a picture right
Okay.
here. That's all taken.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there any other presentations? All right. Then it is 10:05 and we will open up public comments. Remind everyone that comments need to be limited to 5 minutes or less. No action can be taken by the court during public comments. Does anyone have any public comments?
Judge, I would just like to remind everyone that this weekend, Saturday, the Kidfish program that we historically do in Iowa Park will be at Gordon Lake. And sign-up time will begin just shortly after 8, and I don't believe they'll fish until after 9 o'clock. But we encourage everyone, doesn't matter where you're from, to come and participate. 4B underwrites that program in Iowa Park, and it's just a great event where we'll stock adult catfish and catch them out of the lake with the walking track.
Are kids at heart included as well? Right?
16 is the cutoff.
16.
Missed it.
Yeah.
And it generally rains on that day. doesn't it?
Yeah.
I may have to go to that. Listen,
Yeah, you've got an angler. All right, good deal. Are there any other public comments this morning? I've got one that we've got a town hall that the Commissioners Court is doing next Tuesday evening at Dillard College of Business at 6 p.m. So Tuesday the 21st, 6 p.m. Dillard College of Business. We're going to do one town hall, and all of the commissioners will be there. I'll be there to provide an update on what's going on at the county and answer any questions and just have a back and forth with any resident who wants to be there. So it will be posted and we'll see whoever's interested Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, next Tuesday.
Whereabouts, Judge?
Dillard College of Business in Midwestern.
Okay.
And we encourage everybody that would like to say anything to please
Come on.
yeah, please.
You don't have to do it just on your phone, on social media. You can do it in person.
I would much rather talk to you in person.
All right, any other items for public comment? this
Real
morning?
quickly, I'll
Yes, sir.
follow up. Our Friendship Festival in Burke, if y'all hadn't seen it, was a huge success. There was probably the largest one we've ever had, so just want to say thanks to everybody that put that together. The city of Burke did a great job with it, so just bringing that up again. Come to it in the future,
Busy time of year.
and a beautiful time.
Yeah. Any other public comments this morning? Okay, it is 10:07. Public comment is closed. Moves us to the consent agenda. There are 13 items on the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions or changes they'd like to make on those 13 items?
Judge, I've got a question on item number 4.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get some clarification as to what we were doing and why we thought it was necessary.
Dwayne, Lynn, do either of you want to speak to what the Code Red SMS texting system is for this item?
Sorry, sir.
Do you want to address what this actually is for?
So this is the Unsolved Code Red is the communication system we use to notify the county residents of emergency situations, National Weather Services, IPAWS, which is the Weather Services severe weather updates. We use it to put out information to all of the citizens. It includes Code Red for the city of Burke, Iowa Park, Pleasant Valley, Electra. They all have their own accounts, and then there are several other accounts attached to this.
And we do get reimbursed by Wichita County 911 for this year. It's not quite the entire amount. It's $16,900. The Code Red Unsolved raised their renewal rate after the Wichita County 911 budget had been passed.
So, well, see, I was interpreting this wrong. I was thinking we were adding texting to what we currently have with Code Red.
We've always had texting.
Okay,
However,
that's what was confusing.
there is an increase in the texting cost because AT&T went to strictly SMS messaging,
Right.
and people with AT&T phones are not able to get regular text messages, so we had to include that, which is the flipping on of another switch
Okay.
for that particular message style.
Okay,
And before they could do it email to text, and
Right.
they cut out that option, so.
okay. Good deal. I understand better now. I appreciate that, Lynn.
Lynn, I have a little question on
Yes, sir.
Code Red. So when I was at conference last week, I got a Code Red message out of a Post County. It was the Code Red, Code Red test message. Does ours have ability to track transient people coming through and send out Code Red?
That's a Code Red service, sir,
Okay.
and that's an automatic, if they have a Code Red app on their phone,
Okay,
they will get those messages, no matter
Okay.
where you're at within the Code Red jurisdiction. If that city has Code Red and you're in that city, you will also.
that's all,
receive
that's
it.
off the phone,
Yes, sir.
not off of the service that we're providing? Or-
No, it does, well, it won't come from us,
It
it's
comes-
county specific.
Okay.
But somebody traveling from Dallas County who
And-
happens to be
Wichita
here in
County.
the middle of this will get the
They
alert.
would
they
get
have.
They'll
an
get the
alert
alert.
if they have
Okay.
Code Red, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what, I guess that's what I was asking you, because somebody's coming through I-44 and there's a tornado warning, they're gonna get that tornado.
They will get that warning.
Okay.
If they have the
And-
code red.
And that warning also, part of the tornado warning would be iPods, which would come from the National Weather Service.
Okay.
And we test that monthly with the Weather Service and FEMA.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions on that item? Lynn, thank you for.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions on other items?
On number 6, this is kind of to Margaret, so the remainder we'll pay to him, y'all worked it out to where it doesn't have to go anywhere else on that?
As of right now, it's gonna go somewhere else.
Okay, okay, so that's the only question I had.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve the consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments on any of the 13 items or the motion? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Moves us to general business. Item number 1, review and approve the regular bills for payment. Verify payroll taxes have been filed and authorize county treasurer to disperse payroll and/or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, electronically, or be picked up and acknowledged by ledger signature in the treasurer's office.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And then got me on
I heard you.
that.
It's the sound waves they travel. Plus the- We've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Muller, to approve regular bills for payment, verify payroll tax has been filed, and authorize treasurer to disperse payroll and/or bills. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? That motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Item number 2, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve and ratify the minutes of the October 3rd, 2025 regular session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to approve and ratify the minutes of the October 3, 2025 session. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 3, open and take action is necessary on bids received for property ID 137894, located at 1106 FM 171 Road, Wichita County. We do have a bid, it looks like.
Morgan, I may need that again. Sealed, double sealed it.
All right, we have a bid from Judd Quarles of Tyler, Texas for $385 for this property. Are there any other bids?
That's it, Judge.
Motion to take under advisement.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Watts to take the bid under advisement and let's put it on the agenda for next week, if that's okay. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? That motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Jeff, can you get that done? Item number 4, open and take action as necessary on bids received for approximately 100 feet of pipe fencing with stock panels at the precinct 4 yard, 2023 Highway 25 North, Electra, Texas. We received any bids for that one?
No bids, Judge.
All right.
Is there a special consideration, Mel, on, we went twice now for this item and there seems to be no interest. Tanya even spent a bunch of time calling around and,
At this point, you wanting to just get rid of it?
that, yeah, I'm thinking if we need to, we don't have to immediately, but, I mean, is that a possibility?
You can under the surplus.
Okay.
Because now we've
Yeah.
declared it surplus, gone out for bid twice, didn't get any bids. We're cleared up, discarded, aren't we?
We could dispose of it,
Yeah.
recycle it or whatever.
All right. With no bids, there's no action to be taken on this
Okay.
item. Are there any questions?
Do
or comments
we
on
have
it?
to do anything special to surplus it? It's
We already,
done. It's already
yeah, we
that
already
way.
did that when we just put it out for bid.
Okay.
That's my understanding, yeah. Any other questions or comments on that item? All right, there's no action taken on number 4 with no bids received. Item number 5, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve the potential purchase lease from Enterprise Fleet Management for 2026 Chevy Tahoes for the Wichita County Sheriff's Office to be paid from 2026 budget vehicle funds with lines determined by the county auditor. So this item has come up at this time. We're still a ways away from 2026, but Enterprise reached out to Van and he reached out to the sheriff's office. They, GM, no, there's several there, I think, had reached out to us reached out to Enterprise to let them know they were gonna have their allotment opening up for construction vehicles, and to see if we wanted to get any of those vehicles reserved there, which, obviously led to the question of do we, and then there was a back and forth in a meeting with the sheriff's office. Van was there, I was there, Commissioner Watts was as part of that meeting, discussing the larger picture of how we're purchasing vehicles, especially the SO ones. Did we want to keep doing what we were doing? Did we want to look at leasing? Did we want to look at something else? And realized that after that conversation, this was a conversation that the whole court needed to be having. And so that's why this item is on the agenda today. It's twofold. Number 1, to make a decision on if we want to get those vehicles reserved now, and then number 2, to have a larger discussion about how we want to move forward. I guess first up, I'll ask Sheriff's Office what your recommendation is for these vehicles right now here and as the larger.
No, we've been talking about the fleet. Chief McCrann's done this for years, and before him, Chief Cho we tried to do a package with the court, even as far back as 2015, 2014. In 2014, we got 12 vehicles, and 15 we got 0. So we've always said all along we need a set number of vehicles every year, and we rotate the stock. So currently we have 24s and 25s are the newest vehicles. 2020s was the last purchase of big purchase of vehicles, and we have 10 of those left, I believe. Got some 2019s, some 2018s, some 2017s still in the fleet. With Enterprise or any leasing company, if we lease them and we lease them every year, every 5 years we can start rotating the vehicles off, and maybe be able to get some money back for the vehicles, other than when we're selling them out, the 8-year-old vehicles, we get $3,000 for them. With Enterprise plan, looking at it, it would cost us $1,033 a vehicle per month. $600,000 for 2026. We could go out and buy 6 vehicles or 7 vehicles outright and pay for the vehicles and pay for all the equipment. But we really need that 10, 11, or 12 number to get us where we're rotating every 5 years. On their plan, we could get 10 vehicles and it would cost us $124,000 a year for the vehicles. And we could buy the equipment outright for about $35,000 a vehicle plus a radio. So it would eat up majority of that $600,000, but we could get 10 vehicles for 2026. Looking at the interest, we would pay about $8,000 a year in interest, but I think we would save that money down the road for selling them at one time at 5-year-old vehicle. Also, the money we spend in maintenance, you know, once these vehicles get 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, the maintenance cost goes up. I think we would save that amount of money easily if we bought them, leased them, and sold them back. So my recommendation is we do the lease and we try to get 10 vehicles and spend that $600,000 on 10 to the lease program.
Already signed up with Enterprise to begin with.
Yeah, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. If we're not gonna do it, let's walk away from it and we'll just buy our own cars every year.
But you're not opposed to buy those cars outright?
No, we're not opposed to buying it, but if we buy them outright, we're gonna be limited to 6 cars, maybe a 7th. So, it's not gonna give us the number of cars we need a year.
With what you're talking about as to how we have it budgeted
Yeah.
today?
Yeah. If we replace 11 cars a year, that would be real close with what we have in our fleet, and that's including admin cars, CID cars, all those other ones. But it would give us a set rotation. And we've come to the court numerous times asking for a set. And of course, I know y'all can decide it this year, but next year you can't make that court do the same thing. We understand that. But we would like to know from year to year how many cars we're gonna have and how we can manage those cars. And then as they get older, we can trade them off and not hold on to them when they're 6, 7, 8 years old cars. The 19s are costing a fortune right now in transmissions.
Yeah.
10 vehicles would get us completely out of the 17s, 18s, and 19s, right?
Yeah.
Still have a few 20s?
Yes,
at
sir,
that point?
20s, but they'd be line cars. Some would be issued and some would, like 4 would be kept for line cars.
So that everybody's understands, they showed us when Will and Patrick were with Enterprise the annual cost for, and where did that was a 12-month period running through when? Wasn't for 24,
There was not a full year
Yeah.
cycle.
I think it was only a 4-month.
Part of 24, part of 25.
but it was $165,000 for the year in maintenance costs. And they didn't drill it down real well, but we knew that was somewhere that we can reduce that number to some extent by moving those cars a little bit quicker. And what they talked about to us was that if we move those cars quicker, it's possible to see a lot larger return on those ones we purchased instead of putting that tremendous mileage on them and getting them wore out. So, and what you're seeing on this spreadsheet that Morgan passed out was just the amortization, but I used Will 4 years to rotate those cars. And I said that Patrick's got 65 units total. Now, those are not all $90,000 vehicles, because you have vehicles in your fleet that are not these
That are
type of
fully
Tahoes
caged,
that
don't
are
have cages and
upfitted.
everything, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I went off the sheet they gave us for a 5-year lease at
Right.
$1,033 a month per
And
car.
I was trading that after 4 years, trading in that first purchase, but I was on here allocating 16 cars.
But we
And
didn't
I
have
knew
more.
that wasn't necessarily the case because I knew that some you don't really care to it doesn't matter about the mail car at the jail as much as it does a
Well, the
street.
mail car, typically we use a seized car for that, so.
But those kind of things, and of course, y'all have got incorporated a few more pickups in there, which are high, selling, returns when we trade those in as well, and we don't have near the cost either of, in those. So that was a very smart move, but, you know, what this just indicated, we wanted to make sure we understood we're clean in 4 years when we do this outright purchase of the designated number of vehicles. That's not 16, but if it's 10 or 12, we're clean at the end of 4 years, and we don't owe anybody anything. And all that residual comes back into reduce the amount of the next year's purchase, yeah. And so with, under that leased option, we're carrying past 4 years, we go on down deeper to get those payouts done. So it keeps compounding on us. The amount of payment gets higher and higher as we get past year 4, just because we've got new cars coming on. It caps, but eventually, but we're making a higher payment than if we'd have just bought outright those vehicles.
Is the goal, we're looking at some 7 and 8 year old vehicles.
And we shouldn't have those that long, Barry.
But, okay, and we're thinking those are $2,000 cars, basically. when we get
Right.
through.
3,500 at the most, when you're at that age.
So what's a 4-year car? Well, any thought about what that might be?
Every bit, I was playing with the number 10,000, but a 4-year-old car in my mind has the potential to get closer to 20 than probably, as long as we move them and keep them moving on that kind of rotation, similar to what we do on motor graders, that we've seen that be a tremendous resale value on them.
Well, mainly because of the inflated price of the new machine, that's.
And I'm not opposed to like some of our, patrol supervisor vehicles being, and they can transfer, if they need to transport an inmate or prisoner, we can use a Tahoe
Well,
for that.
that just pushes your
The
cost
trucks-
down even more,
The trucks
yeah.
bring better resale as well.
They sure do, and you can just get them, today, we know that, by the time Patrick upfits a unit, he's got 90,000 laid out in a Tahoe. Every year, that's gonna tweak upwards, and, but the resale value won't climb as quickly as what it will. Pickups, they'll retain that retail sale value, they continue to increase, and there's demand on
Got a
that.
broader demand.
A broader demand,
Really,
whereas these units,
Yeah, police unit Tahoe, you know, there's not a lot of uses for that. But I guess, at one time we talked about spinning some of those off to some smaller departments, you know, through selling, is that still?
If they're new enough, or they're, you know, the mileage is low enough, someone who needs it for a small department, a small city can buy them, and they can buy the equipment and everything.
right.
Yeah, that's the key,
And-
because,
And that may need to be buried through a dedicated, now Enterprise no doubt probably has some of those connections, but we probably need a more dedicated service consultant about the resale, somebody that does that particular type of work.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
what
we're.
I said.
They would do that for us, they would sell the vehicles for us.
because we may not be reaching that market.
We may not be reaching that market with, to the municipalities that have reached out and said, hey, we're interested.
One of the big factors is we've continued to see the equipment costs go up. And the equipment costs on a per year basis will be higher on a 4-year car than a 7-year car. And what we've experienced, Will, if I'm not mistaken, you can't transfer that old equipment because the models
They
change.
change
That's
models,
what
that's what happens.
They change it just enough to where.
Yeah,
it won't be-
it'd be like us unable to
Yeah.
hook up, our big batwing mowers to tractors that we trade up. We'd have to buy the whole thing, and that's kind of what it forces you to do.
Can you sell one of those cars equipped out to another entity?
To the energy.
Yes.
But not to the general public.
Not to the public, you have to strip them down.
Which,
That's
boy,
one
that's
of
the
the
market.
things we talked to Enterprise about, is they would
Mhm.
sell them for us,
That's the
we
market
pull our
we need.
decals off of them and
Yeah.
sell the whole thing.
You don't even
And that was
attempt
a
to-
service
to-
that they provided in our lease.
We haven't gotten to, and again, because we're so short down the road, we haven't gotten to that point
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
With
but,
any of those
no,
vehicles.
but my point is, let's just give them away to municipalities if we're gonna pay if we're gonna pay to play to that level. So, Enterprise is gonna do it for you, they're not doing it for free. 7% interest. And today, you could the judge walk into, a bank and because of tax deferred status, probably get us 4% money. We're gonna pay 7% to Enterprise for this service. And I don't know that they're going to be able to sell, a rigged out police vehicle with decent, not, too absurd miles on it, lower mileage, still clean. They're not gonna be able to sell it to Johnny Black Sheriff's Service that, sells those cars rigged out, you know?
Before, okay,
I got a couple of quick things. On the lease, is there a mileage limit?
there's
There
not.
was not.
There is a mileage limit of 25,000 miles per year and over mileage charge of .0550 per mile.
There is not on the patrol vehicles.
That's what I thought.
It's on the 2026 Patrol Tahoe that's on the agenda, Judge.
Okay.
Okay, then that's what they.
I mean, that's-
There was no mileage.
I don't know how many miles we do per year, but that
We'll
would
do
be,
that,
It'll be
and
more
that's
than
why
that.
I put 4
That'll be
years
a
down,
backbreaker.
just knowing that we're crowding 100 thou, which is, you know,
I don't think it's gonna get there.
and unfortunately with the Enterprise quotes, and this is just coming from my office, is we get quotes and then they change almost instantaneous.
Every single one.
Every time we get a quote, we have to bring it back to court and get it changed because their quotes get expired and they give us new numbers. And by that time, we've received the vehicle and now we have to go back and change it. So
So to be clear, and Matt, you may be looking at something that I am differently.
the
The
20,
contract miles number halfway down the bottom is 0. Now, it says that the quote is based on an estimated annual mileage of 25,000, but that's not a contractual
Right.
limit.
but then it gives you an over mileage charge off to the side as well.
Right, but that's part of that's just the form that they put in for if there is a contract mileage.
The problem is if it's on their form, then it's on their quote, then
Yeah, but there is no limit on the form. We can certainly verify that, but I mean, all of us were in the meeting that it was said there is no mileage amount.
Judge, I specifically asked them about the 2 lease vehicles we have with the EMO, and they said there is no mileage cap or overage charge related to those 2 EMO vehicles.
Yeah, and they have represented that to this court, to us on meetings, and again, from reading the quotes, that's where we've ended up. But it's a fair point to bring up.
and,
Yeah.
and I think you would see that more active if we were being guaranteed a return buyback. They would not want us to exceed our
Yeah, mileage would be a big factor.
big.
So Matt, you're saying then, if you get a quote, you've got to be able to execute right then.
Yes, sir.
And our contract doesn't give us a window. I mean, that's hard to do. Well, you can do it. You gotta have action on it. Wow.
Well, and largely, this is a model meeting up with the way that most of their customers work. A lot of it's municipalities or even other counties in Texas that don't have the same level of oversight or sign off that Wichita County does, where the court wanted to have all of those brought up and for us to make a decision on each one as it comes up. A lot of those folks, they largely have a budgeted amount and they go forward if it, just based on the city manager's signature, the county judge's signature. And I'm not saying, I don't think we need to do it that way, obviously, it's just,
Well, it's a big budget item.
Yeah.
I mean,
And in the past, and this is unique, and in past years we've had the same difficulty. If Patrick knows exactly where he stands with budgeted money, he can move. It's just that what we've got budgeted today, if we bought outright, won't get us as far as what we need to do. But Patrick's always been able to move pretty quick and get everything booked and set up, and even found pricing that was better than what we had envisioned it to be. So y'all have done that historically, but the court is going to have to be proactive on the amount of
And
dollars.
that's the deal, is that, we've got, we kinda got two tracks here. One is, we can make different budget decisions in the future to make sure that whatever that 10 vehicle amount, if that's what we wanna do, that's what we put in. This year, we started at that point in the budget levels, but because of the level of pay raises that we wanted to do for for SO and jail and courthouse security, some of that had to be taken away from that to help the numbers add up. That is a budget priority decision we have to make in the future. We have the budget for 26, so we've got to make a decision for 26. If we want to hit that 10 vehicle threshold, we're not going to be able to purchase them outright, or we're going to have to amend the budget and move money from something else to cover it. So we've got those two tracks that we can keep in mind. Before we went with Enterprise, how did sales of vehicles work?
Us buying the vehicle?
No, us selling.
We've always sold them at auction, with the Purple Wave.
Auction. And that's one
Before
reason.
then, it was,
That's what I'm not
Renee
understanding. The
Bay.
whole reason we spent all those hours talking about Enterprise
Yeah.
was so we didn't have to manage that anymore, and they would take care of selling them, and if that's not the best way to go, then it seems like we're just dragging everything out again to rehash it.
if we could sell those, Nick, if we turned around and the court was willing to allocate the dollars towards the purchase of enough vehicles, and we moved them every 4 years diligently, we just never been on that program.
But that
They've been
requires us
aged
to-
out too long, and
Yeah.
Enterprise can't get anything
Does.
for it.
In all fairness, the vehicles the 4 vehicles we had Enterprise tried to sell, I believe there's some Chargers and a Tahoe, they were already 10 or 12-year-old
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
they were.
weren't worth trying to sell.
We still haven't seen what it looks like.
It wasn't a good test.
Yeah, it was not a good test.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have the discipline to do it ourselves, or we're gonna have to let them manage it. That's
That's
the
the same
choice
thing
we're
we
here
said when
today.
we were deciding.
And so we don't have, obviously, we have not had the discipline in the past to do it ourselves.
Well, if you get on that rotation schedule and you are selling those 4-year-old cars or whatever consistently, I suspect over a period of time, you'll become a supplier that people will know about, and they'll probably get in line. Some of these smaller municipalities and others can say, hey, Wichita County has good cars, they spin them off every year, and that's something you build over year. But we've been so inconsistent, we've not been able to establish ourselves.
And I've watched other commissioners' courts on video that have typically done searches for those type lower mileage, well-maintained patrol vehicles, you know, that they've looked for that. That's not what we buy, and that doesn't fit our program, but that's a lot of smaller counties do
Well,
that.
even WFISD PD went out and
Sure.
bought used vehicles.
Right.
It makes sense.
They're not driving the vehicles like we're driving.
That's right.
They're
We
just
don't
driving
think-
to schools back and forth.
Hey, we bought a couple of Crown Vics a number of years ago.
Oh, yeah, like
I
in
kind of remember that,
2010.
to fill the gap, because we were really in kind
Bought
of
two,
a,
it was 906 and one other one, 60.
Yeah.
We bought two that way,
yeah.
but it's been 15 years ago. So,
Well, let me ask this. Was the issue of selling them, for those who've been around a lot longer than I have, was the issue we weren't disciplined, or the issue was we weren't consistent in putting the money aside to
Yeah, by
purchase
the time we got
them.
around
We-
to selling
we
them, there wasn't
did-
nothing left to sell.
We couldn't sell because we weren't buying.
Right.
We had to have some excess inventory in the fleet to just, in case something went down, and sometimes several go down.
Like, I hate to say this, but if you're banking your strategy on what you're gonna resell these for, you're in the wrong market.
You're wrong,
Well,
I agree.
So-
And
I agree.
the other part of that is, while I'm sure that the value will be better on based on a 4-year turnaround, over a third of what we're spending on these is the upfit, which is a sunk cost anyway. And so,
And we wanna pay that outright.
Right.
Right.
And I don't know that a 4 year is smart anyway, maybe a 5 year I could see, but
And Judge, that's what I was referring to a while ago.
But that's why we hired
The
Enterprise to tell us
You
when
divide
is the
that by
best
4
market
years
to
of
get rid
use,
of
or
them.
divide it by 7 years of use, the upfit becomes a lot more expensive at 4
Sure.
years. Cause
Sure.
you're having to do it more often. And that's a consideration in this deal, is whether that works or not.
But that's why we hired them to give us those numbers.
because they're
Tell
the
us
ones that
when
market it and research it.
and
our
their,
breakover
and
is.
this is ultimately what we're gonna, is their recommendation is to lease and roll them around and sell them every 4 years. That's the best cash flow and value to the county. Now, to Commissioner Watts's point, they get 7% interest, and so that's.
say, it's beneficial to them too.
Well,
Absolutely.
But
But they're not in it for free.
Right.
And Judge, it's always come back to budget. Every time you get to the bottom line, you got X number of dollars.
And if we make a decision today, it'll still be
Yes,
budgeted
they're
next
gonna
year.
be-
If we had a
Is the
dedicated
trade-off
fleet
that interest
manager,
For what we're saving on repairs, is that the trade-off?
It would be nice though to have a real trial where you have some real numbers to know,
There's
and it's just gonna be difficult to get.
And we're probably still 2 years away from
Yeah,
that.
There's,
yeah.
there's a big difference between us and the city. We don't have a dedicated fleet manager.
Right.
They do. They have a whole fleet management department. So they have the personnel to take a look at this and make sure that they're rotating on an annual basis. We don't. That's my 2 cents. That we spent
A lot of
a
time.
lot of time with Enterprise, and we all agreed that it was the way we wanted to go, and we haven't.
Well, we
utilized it.
didn't, we agreed, Mark, to a certain level, but we didn't agree that the vehicles we purchased would be leased. We were clear, very open with them that we would purchase vehicles outright as well.
Depends on the money market. I mean, it
Yeah.
depends on where the cost
And,
is.
and we've just seen the interest go up. I mean, 7% for us as a government entity to borrow money, to me, is excessive.
I agree with you. I think that some of that is cushioned a little bit by the fact that if you are leasing, you're not spending nearly as much, which allows us to then invest that money. We're getting a higher return at the same time. 'cause it's unspent.
And we can
That's
buy
just time
down,
value
we can
money.
buy
But-
down that.
We're not paying the maintenance that we would otherwise.
Well, it's cash flow.
Well, and we still don't have enough data to know that, because we still haven't gotten to a point where the fleet is new enough overall to.
Right.
So, I mean, that's,
Yeah, we don't know what, 4 years of running 4-year-old vehicles looks like maintenance-wise, but we're bound and determined to get there, so.
Well, would you be interested in some chargers?
No.
No. Doggone, I thought I found us a spot here,
But total patrol vehicles in Patrick, what are those, what is that number? I'm using 65 in my mind. I've got the sheriff's department has 65 vehicles.
Talking about ones with cages, patrol vehicles,
Right.
if you include the supervisors, about 38, about 38,
Okay.
fully decked out ones, yeah.
and how many of those are now 24s and 25s at this point?
14? No, 7, actually. Yeah, 13 or 14, 14 I think are, yeah.
So, gosh, that gets on down the road then. I mean, we're only looking at about, what is that, another 16 plus 8, that'd be what?
But we've got,
To make us,
better than
we have
what
a
we've been.
backup K-9 vehicle, that's a 14 Tahoe. We have some 16 Tahoes in CID. We still have a 08 or 09 Tahoe being driven, a 13 Tahoe being driven. So we've got some older vehicles. We kept that 8 around because it had a new motor on it about 3 years ago, so trying to get the money out of that motor.
price, we don't even know if they still have the allotted slots available at the.
We won't know until the court approves the number, and then we reach back out and say the court approves 7 vehicles or whatever. Then we'll know for sure that they have this initial availability.
And if we fail to take advantage of this initial one, we're not blocking ourselves out completely. This was for a reduced cost initial allotment.
It's ordering them straight from the factory. If we don't get in that first order of the, straight from the factory, then we have to buy them from a dealer. So they'll be a little more expensive. There'll still be availability, it'll just cost more.
By about $2,000 more ish.
Gonna have a markup on them.
And your recommendation is to lease?
At least 10 this year, that's, I think, what we can do with that, what we have budgeted money for.
And your recommendation is to buy, but we can't buy that many.
Right.
Well, we would have to do an amendment, like the judge said, in order to buy 10.
If we're gonna do that.
Are you amending the 26 budget? We ain't even got there yet.
How long have you been around here?
Well, we wouldn't pay for those until, how long is that gonna take, Patrick, to,
To get the vehicles,
yeah,
it'll definitely be July or August next year.
and have them upfitted?
But the number, if I'm understanding this right, is 7% on the money in the lease deal.
Correct.
If we lease it.
That's the kicker.
That's the hard part.
I know a bunch of people would like to have 7% on some CDs,
But we pay 7% is not the only cost. We're paying a per vehicle cost for maintenance tracking and fees and
So you're
such.
not wanting to do none of the
But we were gonna do
maintenance
that
No,
anyway.
I'm not opposed to doing some of that stuff at all, because it certainly helped, and unless Matt and Margaret look at that and they say, hey, we can redesignate how those tickets flow through us, and they can do that internally, but
if you're,
I'm not opposed.
if you're set on 10 cars, the real difference is cash flow.
Right.
If you do the lease, you're not, because if you don't do the lease, we've gotta go back in and find some other funds to make up the deal.
Yeah,
It's a cash flow deal.
we're gonna have to find another $400,000.
correct.
Possibly, yeah.
And what's 7% gonna cost us for the year?
Well, it's 7% of,
I did that one. It's over 5 years. It's $10,000 more per vehicle over the 5-year period.
So 100 grand.
So 2,000 a year.
But that's why I say 10,000 is what I was using on those vehicle returns. You're better off to just give the vehicles away. If it costs you 10,000 in interest to get there, and you're gonna sell them for 10,000 at the end of 5 years,
Yeah, but you're gonna get more than 10 out of them. You're selling a fully outfitted patrol car with a decent.
I think you
mileage
certainly
record.
will on vehicles that will have the pickups and the things like that. Those Tahoes surprised me that I just had never seen anything.
We've never tried to sell a 4-year-old vehicle, Tahoe,
No.
fully.
No, that's right.
So we don't know
Through
what's.
That- so we don't
Enterprise that
know what
has
that-
the ability to
They
market
have vendors
them.
out there to sell them,
Did-
market it.
Are there, like, we get all the time vendors calling and saying, you know, we want to try to peddle this to you, and it's a constant ongoing thing, it's an array of things, but do y'all get people that reach out to say, you know, do you have a car program that, we would want you to entertain to sell through with us, for rigged vehicles? I mean, that's not typically something that no one reaches out for you.
Enterprise said they had that ability.
Yeah. Yeah, they said they had the ability, that they had the resources, they actually had a team dedicated to that, so.
That was one of the big
If we could
selling
sell vehicles
points.
rigged out, we would definitely get more than 10,000 for
Right.
it. We'd pull the radio and pull the radar out of it, and, maybe.
and tell us what the price of a idea what
We
it
might
is.
65,000, we say.
You got a crystal ball?
Good luck on that. All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the enterprise deal for the 10 vehicles.
I'll second.
That the lease.
That would be the
Let's do
lease.
it.
That would be the lease.
Well, that'll be a task force.
That's
I mean, that
We
was-
gotta-
we spent countless hours
And I
going
do
down this
think,
road.
and I'm not, when we discussed all this before, I'm not for leasing, I'd rather buy. Cause I think you
Well,
save
then why
money.
are you wanting to lease it?
Because the whole reason we spent months going over that and all those meetings is to give this a shot and try it. And are we not gonna try it? I mean, that's what we were supposed to do.
Well,
get
but
into
you
that
got
10
four,
car year
you got
rotation.
4 years, Mick. 4 years before you know whether it's viable or not. You're gonna have spent a lot of money.
We rented some for the EMO, and we're gonna rent some for other departments, but
Well,
we're only gonna
written
buy
two
some
for-
for the sheriff's department.
Well, written
Or we-
two for the EMO is a whole different ballgame than,
It's still,
the sheriff's
we can't
department.
ever tell if this program's gonna work and save us money if we don't try it, is what I'm getting at. And I wasn't necessarily for it to start with, 'cause but
Well,
you
but
gotta have somebody that can manage the fleet.
but Jim was using the tools he had at hand when he developed the amount of money for wheel, or to chisel the amount of money down for wheel to make everything fit into what it should. We spent no time discussing this prior to the budget. We didn't go over this in any detail. It was what the judge had at his disposal to have to use to make it work.
One way or another, we gotta get into a 10-car
Let's make
rotation.
sure that I'm understanding. We do the lease, we're not gonna retail them, we're gonna let them go back, correct?
Yep.
Well,
Or do you have-
no, they're our cars.
They're our cars
Our
at the end.
got
Oh,
4
okay.
years. But
Whichever way we do it, they're our cars at the end of it.
Well, my point was gonna be, at the end of the year, you can compare what that thing, I mean, you're not gonna sell it, but you can get an idea of what's that Euro car worth as opposed to what's a new one. Then at the end of 2 years, you'll have it also, I mean, we'll have a little bit of data, we'll know what the market is. I'm just saying, you won't have to wait 4 full years to find out where you're headed. I don't know, it's.
I don't have an
6.5.
amortization schedule. Are you saying that there's no buy? You don't have to pay $1 at the end of the lease to buy it?
There, I mean, I think it is $1.
Okay.
Basically,
Yeah.
So it is a lease, okay.
It is.
See,
it's
I
not
thought
a-
I thought you turned them back in and then,
No.
yeah, got some, okay, that makes a
You know,
difference.
and we
You
can
do if you don't
rotate
pay
them
your
down
dollar.
into the other vehicles that we need to get rid of too. at that point. We don't necessarily have to sell them, because we have other vehicles. that
But we
need to be
did,
replaced.
we used a number of those Tahoes to
And
put in
If-
different places.
If, and since you made a motion, I'm gonna address this to you. If your desire would rather be to buy instead of lease, we can do that. It's just gonna mean we would have to go back and amend the budget, and honestly, at that point, we're pulling out of fund balance to pay for it. It's there, but that's what we're looking at. Or if we would rather have those funds that are in there invested or doing other things or there for whatever emergency and lease, we can do that too. But if the goal is to get to 10 cars, those are really our 2 options.
There's 400,000 there to deal with and what we've been bringing in on the investment. I mean, you're around 4%. So it's not gonna be I don't,
We don't
to
have
me-
to pay 7% to get Enterprise to sell these cars. That's my point. Dwayne's got cars leased from Enterprise on the hook to us to peddle these cars when we bought the cars from Enterprise.
But
And-
we're looking at diverting $400,000, nearly $500,000 of our budget, which we hadn't even got to yet. Already, we're gonna divert $400,000. That's what we're talking
That's what
about.
we're gonna have to
in
do.
all fairness, we would take the 600,000, that's what we would agree to. But when we were talking to Enterprise and we hashed it out in that meeting, for the same $600,000, we could get 10 vehicles if we leased them. That's where it all came about,
Sure.
so.
You're just trying to maximize the number of vehicles
Mhm.
For the same
that we
value.
get.
We need us a good, experienced used car salesman to come in and sort this out.
I mean, it's all,
And
this
that's
is
why
really
I
good
say,
TV.
the money that Will has is only, it's what Jim had at his disposal to lay out for the budget and to maneuver within, and that's what took us to that money. We didn't strategize or we didn't think that there would be a possibility we bought these cars outright instead of
We could
financing them.
go to the bank and finance it for less than 7%.
Well, heavens, yeah, you could.
Which is
But
another option.
then-
We're back into the
Mhm.
fleet management.
But then also next year, are you gonna add another 10 years and then, or another 10 vehicles and lease those? And then now you're at 300,000 a year for 20 vehicles.
And that's
And-
exactly
You
right.
gotta write a check every year.
Yeah.
And that's where,
It sends us out.
And that's, that compounding on that, I agree with you on that, and that's why I didn't like the lease agreement to start with. But I do wanna shoot for getting the 10 vehicles.
Well, thank you for that.
The question I have though is, the question I have is, if we buy them or lease them, do we do still the same maintenance program through Enterprise?
If we buy them outright, I say we don't do anything with Enterprise, and we'll manage it like
Mhm.
we've always managed it in the past. Because every time we do anything with Enterprise, they got to send him an email, he's got to approve it, or I have to approve it, and then it goes back to be done from the dealer or whoever's working
So
on it.
you're telling me that so far you are not happy with Enterprise?
We're the middleman, we still have to approve everything, and he still has to order everything.
It's the same thing with bills, they still send the bills to us, and then I send them to Glenn this is to Robin says, this is an Enterprise.
So Enterprise isn't streamlining our situation
I
at all?
don't
Not
think
so
they
far.
are at all.
No.
Not the way we're doing it right now, no, and we talked about that the other day, and that's what I made the comment, either we do it right, or we don't do it at all.
If Enterprise had a big shop, and that's where you went, and that's where it was handled, that'd be one thing, that's
Mhm.
not.
No, we can't, it's not ever gonna work if we do bits of it over here and bits of it over
Mhm.
here, and some people
No.
manage and some
I
people
think
And
don't.
they can't do part of it, like with
Really
Goodyear
go
Tire,
ahead.
doesn't go through Enterprise,
Mm-mm.
because if we go through Enterprise, Goodyear Tire charged Enterprise a crazy
Mhm.
amount of money.
Like twice.
We
the
get a
time
deal for going, so Goodyear, we know are ours.
Yeah.
We know that's never going through Enterprise.
And Wilson's Pit Stop, the statement is a nightmare because they're trying to send it to Enterprise and Enterprise is saying,
Well, this,
They're gonna
this
pay-
affects my motion
Sure.
tremendously.
See, that's another part
That's
of
why
the
I
puzzle.
that's why I ask these questions, cause back again, everybody, we don't get to hear about this until we're all here together
Yeah.
talking about it. And then you're
That's
like,
what we talked about in the meeting that day, I think, do we do it or we don't do it at all? We do it this way, we do 10 vehicles and we keep leasing them from out there on, or just let us buy the vehicles outright and manage it. Cause if he wants to order a vehicle, he's gotta call Enterprise and then, or email them, and then it may be 2 weeks before they get back to him.
I'll,
He start looking for a vehicle.
I will say this, I think it may be what Mark was about to say. The whole reason that I brought the Enterprise thing to us at the beginning was I had heard and it looked like we were doing a poor job of managing our fleet. That's not casting aspersion on anyone, it's just that's, to the chief's point, this is not your only job, right? This is something that it goes on to the other
Mhm.
48 things you've got to do a day. If we're not going to, if the enterprise model is not one that fits well on top of how we want to proceed, then let's stop.
Stop.
I mean, we're going to have a relationship with them for the next 4 years anyway, because we've got leases with them for 24s and 25s. But that's fine. We can pivot. My question's going to be, so why is our fleet management going to be any better moving forward then at that point?
Well, we've always, McFerrin's always, since he took that position, he's ordered cars, he's ordered what we needed for outfit, he's told Defender what we needed to outfit the vehicles. With Enterprise, it's just, he's doing the same thing, pretty much. I don't know that, he just, I don't know.
Well, I feel like that once I took the position, and started getting my feet wet and understanding what I was doing, is about the same time when y'all brought Enterprise on board, and then I stopped what I was doing, cause I had plans for who we're gonna contact to use auctions, because the online was bringing more money than so I was getting these things going, and then Enterprise happened, and it is what it is.
Fair enough. And again, because we started having those conversations in middle of 23, and so my history began on January 1st, 2023, so that's fine.
Well, also, you're the largest department with vehicles, but you're not the only department.
Right.
So we have to, maybe if you're setting up a model of a fleet type maintenance that can be spread out amongst the other departments in the county where we have a better, so people know better what to do or where to take stuff or that kind of stuff, it might work, but I realize that's not you're not signing up to be the fleet officer for the county, but it might end up to where your knowledge in that might help the whole county if that is a little bit, use your knowledge to help other departments. If we're not gonna go with
And most everything else except for what Patrick and Will are doing can fit in what we're typically used to right now, selling online. They have versatility. These things, we could capitalize on a return after 4 years of use by being dedicated or directed into where somebody that actually handles that type of, I have no experience selling any kind of Sheriff's Tahoe to someone that is dedicated to sell them to municipalities or counties or government entities that could utilize them.
Well, I'm sure there's a way to.
There's somebody out
I'm
there.
sure there's a listserv from Sheriff's Department somewhere that they could put something out and say, hey, do any of y'all know somewhere we could sell?
Sure.
4-year-old Tahoes, there's gonna be a market for that, especially rigged out.
If we're not going to do the lease, I would suggest that we purchase the vehicles we have budgeted for right now and get into Q2 of next year and see where we're at.
Budget.
And then make the budget transfer and order the additional 3 or whatever vehicles. I would strongly caution against
And
doing a budget amendment before we ever get to the budget.
yeah, and that, I understand that, and our issue there is gonna be by Q2 of next year, the vehicles that we order will be in 27, probably not 26, but,
That portals will close here probably in the next few weeks.
And we're gonna have some long in the tooth vehicles if we can't step up by the time. But there's no opioid money, Judge, coming? That unallocated opioid money?
Whatever.
I don't know if you use opioid money for cars.
there's no, we can't, but I think what you're getting at is cat money's fungible, so if it's an opioid, it's something can be used for something that wouldn't be paid out. There is money in the opioid fund that is not allocated or dedicated for the 26 budget, to answer your question.
We are bringing that money in on the inmates, so that registration.
And you have any seizure money you'd like to throw in on this?
Hey, we buy DCIF cars.
It don't hurt to ask.
I do think we are at the point though, where we're unhappy with the enterprise model, which it sounds like our biggest vehicle user and our auditor's office who handles the bills are unhappy with the model.
Right.
Let's
Let's
stop trying to
withdraw
make
my
this
second.
I'll
big.
withdraw my motion.
Okay.
We can just keep
So,
beating the old horse here until we figure it out.
so there's no action on this item?
Well, I think
No, we need some action.
Well, no, because
How's it
what the
written?
action would be to tell Enterprise to get the cars.
right, and if we're going away from that, then let's not.
Then he can reach out
do
to
it.
dealers looking for cars.
I think that because again, this is the first really that 3 of the 5 commissioners have gotten to hear about this, talk about it, see about it. Would be to let's.
Let me ask you a question. If we know the car's gonna be in the 50s, somewhere low 50s, can we reach out and try to purchase 10 vehicles and we come back to the court after first court and ask for the equipment money?
That's a smart.
Yep, that's a
probably
better
smart
move. I would go with that.
Yeah. And do you think you'll be able to buy one out of SB 22, like we have been
We bought one already out of
Yeah.
SB 22 this year.
for 26?
For 26.
It'd be up to, we can look at it.
Okay.
There's always that possibility.
Spend the
That's
money
a,
until we run out of money and
Because
then,
the cars wouldn't come in till July anyway.
Yeah, but we just need to get our
And
in the pot.
then I like that idea.
I do.
I do too.
I'll make that motion to go
Well,
ahead
we
and order.
can, it's not the way.
Oh.
Yeah,
motion
that's
It's not the way it's written, we have to put it back.
And y'all don't need
Well,
a motion to
but-
go out and get quotes.
But
No,
aren't
'cause it's
the,
under
in the
100.
purchase, will it not flow through, the purchase wouldn't flow through enterprise? The outright
Mhm.
purchase?
So we can go through Defender, go through
Mhm.
Caldwell,
Okay.
go through
Okay.
numerous different,
Purchase
vendors.
Yeah, e-procurement, yeah.
Oh, then we
So-
Cooperative.
this at all.
So
That ain't,
go look in the cooperative and see what's available. So we
Yep.
just take no action on this and
put it back on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Let's give everybody a week to figure out what they like and want to do, and then we can have an item next week to discuss and potentially make a decision about.
We'll reach out to some different vendors and see what we can get on vehicles. We'll talk about what we want to buy.
This is a great discussion. I like cars and I like money. Let's spend some time talking.
can't have too much of either, can you?
That's right, we can't have too many either.
I mean, I agree with the 7%. I don't like what's in 7%.
Sure.
But I'd like to get to our car number that we need.
Yeah, we
No,
need to get to 10.
We've got to do that, and we've got to be
But we gotta-
dedicated moving forward to stay on. And, you know, the reason we haven't been able to have a good resale program there is we had no good purchase program
Mhm.
established to allow us to do that. We couldn't bank on anything.
We can't be consistent in
That's
that.
right.
And
We're not
which
taking
I'm assuming the sheriff's department is, from what you just said, are willing to step up more into that fleet management side of it for y'all.
It's historically, we've always
Because-
took care of our own cars and stuff, you know.
And the reason I'm saying that, are y'all doing any kind of, that was a big selling point from Enterprise, was keeping that data on what our, and we should be able to pull that just from our numbers now,
Mhm.
seeing what our maintenance costs were, ongoing maintenance, or, regular monthly maintenance on vehicles and stuff like that. Are y'all keeping pretty good?
We could probably keep
Records
better
on that.
books of it, but we can pull a lot of stuff, like you said, per
Mhm.
vehicle.
I think that would be beneficial, so we can, if we're gonna do this, and y'all two are whoever's there at the
Yeah.
time,
Well, on that,
can come back and keep our numbers together, the court, and hold the court a little bit accountable too, we said we're gonna do 4.
well,
10
on
vehicles.
my fleet devices that we have, we can do the data entry. It will track how much money you're spending on maintenance and stuff on those, on that device, on the devices. We just have to do the data entry until, when we get the bills.
The other thing, and Van will be happy to volunteer, and he'll be happy to show y'all the dashboard of
Mhm.
what it looks like. Because have any of y'all ever seen the Enterprise dashboard?
No, not.
He can show you what the per month, per vehicle
Mhm.
fee is getting us for that, which again might help with making some decisions for, is that worth, because again, it's 7%, which is capturing some other thing, to your point, they're not doing it for free, that interest rate is also putting some of that other
It's got
stuff
some
into
service
it.
fee in
Mhm.
it also.
Well, I mean, no, the fee is the fee,
Mhm.
you're paying a premium on interest for some
Monthly
other
service
stuff
fee.
that comes along with it. It's sort of a way in. Okay,
All right.
so you revoked your motion.
Mhm.
Yeah. So at this time then, before we close it off, is there any other comment or question on this item? There's no motion.
When I go out and start getting quotes, is it for 10 vehicles or is it for $600,000?
We can't make a decision on that until, but
How many vehicles do you
So
get?
both?
600?
Do both.
how much is 10? How much is, what'd you say, they're 55?
They're about 55 or 53, so
So
you're looking
you
at.
can quote 10 still under the money,
Mhm.
Yeah.
But,
so.
yeah, just remember, there's gonna be another 35 at the end of it on outfit.
We're
But
gonna
we
separate.
won't have
Right.
to outfit them until they come in, and then we'll have a better grasp of where our financial are at that point.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
So I
they're
would
not
take-
gonna come in, like I said, in Q2.
And we won't pay for these until
Yeah,
Yeah.
July of
Until
next
we
year.
see
that's,
it.
then we have a much better grasp of where our needs are,
Mhm.
rather than making a big budget move right
And I
now.
guarantee you, even if we didn't do the 6, we could turn around and sell the 4 just like
As
that.
part of the car.
Is everybody else gonna want them to? I wouldn't pass up.
All right. There'll be no action taken on this item, and we'll get to do it all again in a week. So, see you there.
Patrick, I had when I heard the last commissioner's court, and maybe it was I don't know if it's Clay County or where, but they used a specific person that only dealt with cars that were for your type of business. And I'll see if I can get a contact there from, them as to who who reached out to them to sell them this car. Or I remember looking at the webpage and seeing what, that's all that company sold was
That's to
you
buy them and not sell them.
when you,
Yeah.
okay.
And I will just remind any member of the public who's watching this going, really, you couldn't have that discussion somewhere else? No, we couldn't have. The only way we can have this, with more than, with the whole court is, and that's how we have to do it, so.
But it was a good discussion.
It was.
We ended up with some good ideas, so. Yes, Judge?
Judge, there are volunteer fire departments and smaller entity fire departments that do actually look for Tahoes that are already set up for command vehicles for their chiefs or assistant chiefs and stuff like that. So that's another avenue all over the country, I think, that they're looking for, so they don't have to spend the $80,000 or $90,000 to get one decked out, which if it comes with the consoles and all that stuff, and all they have to do is put their radios and their light bars or whatever
I'm
on
not
it.
painting them red though.
But they can use them for, there's some black ones running around, there's white ones, there's gray ones, different command vehicles, and they can
Right.
stripe it and do whatever, so that's another
That
avenue
is
to be
a
able to
good
sell
idea.
those, units, so.
Patrick will come back in 2 weeks and say, I found your cars, but they're all red.
Do you need us for that last part, or?
I don't, maybe on the security side, at least one person, but. All right, item number 6, receive update on courthouse renovations and county courthouse annexes. Commissioner Beecham.
Not a lot to report, just the security project is the only really active project we have going on right now, so, that's moving along really well, so haven't heard any complaints. Got to look at some of the camera views yesterday in Brendan's office, and what a step up. What a big step up, as far as angles and views that we have. I'm very impressed.
Good.
Judge, I hope everybody's noticed how much better this old building looks over the last 6 months or so. It really is different.
Yeah, Mark, I liked our flower bed, creation down here.
Well,
That's
there's
caught
2
my
more
eye
flower
yesterday.
pots that were supposed to have been ordered, so.
I was wondering about that. I
There
thought
was
that.
supposed to been, there was supposed to been 4 rounds, but
Well, I liked what, the way
it does look nice,
Yeah.
but I think,
Yeah.
But it really has improved.
Yeah.
It's really come around. And when you walk by every day, sometimes I think maybe you don't notice it as much as if you hadn't seen it in a while, but it makes a difference.
but thanks to Rick. Rick and his staff do
Yep.
an amazing job.
Thanks to y'all for spending the money to do it.
We're really good at spending other people's money. That's what we do.
But our taxpayers deserve a building that's taken care of.
Yeah.
That's right. Any other comments on this item? Okay. It is 11:13. This time we'll be going into closed session for discussion regarding installation of external and internal security devices at the Emergency Management Office and Election Building. This meeting is closed pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.089, deliberations about security devices. We'll be doing the same thing for installation of external and internal security devices at the courthouse and courthouse annex, ongoing project for a change order, and it's closed pursuant to the same section. If you are not otherwise cleared to be here for those 2 items, please vacate the courtroom. Thank you.
Oh, no, we're good. We're back.
Good?
You know, we're gonna mess around and need a rain.
No, we're not.
It's pretty bad right now.
It spit yesterday a little bit.
Sprinkled on,
Bit.
Enough to get your car dirty.
I was
Just
gonna
enough
say,
to get the windshield dirty.
sprinkled on me out east of town.
All right, it is 11:38 a.m. and we are back in open session. Item number 1 is discuss, consider, and/or take action on the installation of external and internal security devices at the Emergency Management Office and Election Building.
Would that motion need to be made up to that dollar amount on this total?
Does.
Where's the total?
Then I would, the 59,250 plus the 18?
Yep.
So let me whip out my handy dandy calculator and I'll make that motion.
And the optional,
$104.95.
60,100.
And $4.95.
does that include the optional?
That's with the 59 and the 1,800.
It's 61.
Well, how many?
And that's with the 1,800?
Yes. $61,104.95.
Yeah, that's better.
I'll second.
I'll make that motion for 61,104.95 for the elections in the EMO office.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Pincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham, to approve DigiQuote number 019165 for the installation of external and internal security devices at the Emergency Management Office and Election Building for an amount up to $61,104.95 to be paid out of 409 with lines determined by the county auditor.
And there will be some, just to note, there will be some reimbursement possibly on some grant money on that.
Yep. All right, are there any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2 is discuss, consider, and/or take action on a change order for the installation of external and internal security devices at the courthouse and courthouse annex ongoing project.
I'll make the motion to approve $20,632.46 on this change order. We did not include contingencies in this project, and this would have generally fallen under a contingency amount.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Kincannon to authorize the change order, the Digi change order, quote number 020462, for an amount of $20,632.46 to be paid out of 409, with lines determined by the county. Have any questions or comments on that motion or the item?
No grant money.
There is no. Well, not yet. We haven't found it yet.
Courthouse
All right.
security.
Is there, let's see. All right, any questions or comments? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. With that, it is 11:42 and court is adjourned.
Brandon, will we be able to trade all this in 4 years and get?